90% of city planners quit one lane before fixing traffic forever. At the height of my career, I went on a pilgrimage to a city that had been developed solely for private vehicles. But I fear the original planners did not go far enough. The interstate going through town had only 6 lanes and the main boulevard only 8. Why did they stop there? They were so fucking close. They developed a true automotive paradise and decided to rest on their laurels, knowing their city never once was cursed with public transportation of any type. Why so few lanes? Did they not understand the gravity of the mistake they made? Paradise was unfinished. I was disappointed, devastated. I had looked up to the founders of this city with a level of religious fervor typically unrivaled by even Robert Moses himself. This town was my Vatican, my Mecca, my Jerusalem, my Salt Lake City. It was at this point I was able to convince the city council to allow me and my company to upgrade their entire road network. The highway would be an 84-lane thing of beauty, the likes of which the world has never seen. Each local street would have a minimum of 8 lanes, the main boulevards 12. A city as holy as this deserved no less. And to those pathetic souls who chose to walk anyways, we removed every disgusting sidewalk and pedestrian path in town. That's what they get for doubting the power of Lane Man. This is the place, or so I thought. Ever since I was a tiny lane boy, it was my dream to live in Salt Lake City. Their powerful grids and wide highways were the stuff of legend. Like Brigham Young before me, when I first arrived here, I said to myself, this is the place. As a practicing Mormon, I made my obligatory pilgrimage to Temple Square, but when I got there, it was entirely pedestrian. No cars allowed whatsoever. I couldn't even drive into the tabernacle. What the hell was wrong with this place? It was at this point I knew that the work of my beloved prophet Joseph Smith, second in importance only to Robert Moses himself, was far from complete. Luckily, I stumbled upon 2 beautiful golden tablets that I presented to church elders. The newly revealed prophecy called for a heavenly 32-lane roundabout surrounding the entire complex, with dedicated exits to each of our faith's holiest sites. From there, we would create a divinely inspired 40-lane superhighway stretching from the southernmost reaches of Sugar House through Poplar Grove and all the way to the steps of the state capitol. Now, of course, a few apostates ran crying to the governor, claiming we were corrupting the good name of Heavenly Father. But I knew the devil was in their hearts. So we cleansed their souls with the ultimate blood libel. We nuked the Capitol building and replaced it with a massive Home Depot. Nobody questions the faith of Lane Man. They paved Paradise and put up a parking lot. Wrong! That assumes there was even a paradise to begin with. As an up-and-coming city planner, I had the misfortune of being assigned to a densely packed city on the American West Coast to help fix the traffic that had plagued their downtown. It was then I was immediately struck with fear by the amount of valuable land that had been dedicated to high-rise buildings with hardly any parking. What's worse was they had a train line going straight through the heart of the city. What the hell were they thinking? Luckily, with the help of my mentor, we were able to correct this grave error. The plan was to provide a minimum of 3 city blocks of parking for every one structure we left intact. It was at this point I could have taken the win and gone home victorious, but no! I wanted the people of this city to enjoy the unlimited freedom of automotive movement that was their God-given right as American citizens. We were able to build a beautiful 128-way stack interchange in the center of it all, giving every parking lot and building in town a dedicated lane straight onto the highway. But still, a few idiots decided to make use of the city's subway system. We put a stop to that by covering the entrance with a massive Walmart. Nobody defies Lane Man and lives to tell the tale. Stay classy, San Diego. Too bad there's nothing classy about this place. As a student of urban planning, I had always admired Southern California for its progressive car-forward approach. The sheer number of lanes on Interstate 5 was admirable, and second only to Houston in its beauty. But upon arriving in San Diego a few years ago, I felt that something was off. The city had built a robust system of trolleys in the densest areas, and our previous president had decided to build a goddamned wall at the very edge of the city, preventing Californians fed up with the public transit lobby hanging them out to dry. to pay for a useless high-speed rail system for making their exodus out of the state to friendlier places. I knew something had to be done. It was at this point I took the trip south of the border to Tijuana and met with the Mexican authorities. Our plan was to demolish that wretched wall and replace it with una magnífica autopista de 72 carriles con salidas exclusivas a ambos lados de la frontera, so traffic could easily enjoy the international freedom of movement they were entitled to. We would finally connect the two great nations of North America from El Centro all the way to Playas de Tijuana. Now, of course, a few bigoted Republican pendejos complained that opening the border would change the culture of their city. But we didn't fucking care. We replaced their treasured oceanside homes with a gigantic El Pollo Loco with a double-decker 8-lane drive-through. And all this time, they thought Lane Man was on their side. Chinga tu madre, San Diego. To be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand interchanges. The design is extremely subtle, and without a solid grasp of theoretical physics, most of the layouts will go over a typical viewer's head. There's also the Cloverleaf's nihilistic outlook, which is deftly woven into its characterization. Its personal philosophy draws heavily from Narodnaya Volya literature, for instance. The fans understand this stuff. They have the intellectual capacity to truly appreciate the depths of these designs, to realize that they're not just efficient, they say something deep about life. As a consequence, people who dislike auto-oriented infrastructure truly are idiots. Of course, they wouldn't appreciate, for instance, the humor in Henry Ford's existential catchphrase, "Wubba lubba dub dub," which itself is a cryptic reference to Turgenev's Russian epic Fathers and Sons. I'm smirking right now, just imagining one of those addle-pated simpletons scratching their heads in confusion as Robert Moses's genius wit unfolds itself on their smartphone screens. What fools! How I pity them. And yes, by the way, I do have an interchange tattoo, and no, you cannot see it. It's for the ladies' eyes only, and even then they have to demonstrate that they're within 5 IQ points of my own, preferably lower, beforehand. Nothing personnel, kid. Little boxes on the hillside, made of ticky-tacky, pink, green, blue, even yellow. They all met the same fate in the end. A few years ago, I took a trip to a city that had almost no highways whatsoever. Apparently, 60 years ago, a small minority of idiots blocked plans to construct a massive grid of beautiful thoroughfares that would have reached to every corner of town in what they smugly called freeway revolts. In the 1980s, a major earthquake destroyed the last remainder of the city's glory days, and they replaced it with a waterfront boulevard with a streetcar line. I was brought to tears, knowing they had replaced a perfectly good highway with such a crappy piece of infrastructure. It was at this point I knew what had to be done. With a little bit of effort, I was able to convince the mayor to allow me to revive this once great city with a grid of adorable 24-lane expressways stretching from Ocean Beach to Soma, straight down Market Street and all the way to the heart of Oakland itself. And what of those wretched little boxes on the hillside? Those pathetic nincompoops tried to say we were ruining the character of their neighborhood. Well, we covered up their precious views with a 64-lane viaduct, finally creating a direct route from Sausalito to Alameda, the way God intended. Nobody escapes the wrath of Lane Man. Dubai, the city of gold, the Arabian dream, the jewel of the desert. Try as I may, I had traveled around the world searching for a city as progressive on motorists' rights as this. Of all the places I visited and made improvements to along the way, none could compare in perfection to Dubai. At first, you may ask yourself, Lane Man, it has so many towering high-rises, certainly it must support all that density with a public transit system. Isn't there something you can do to fix it? And to you, I say, no. The wise leaders of the United Arab Emirates had it all figured out. Nearly every road in the city is a wide, glorious expressway, most of which have no fewer than 12 lanes. Every single public space in this city is perfectly accessible via private vehicles, first and foremost. Now, of course, I've heard rumors that Dubai does in fact have a metro system, but does anybody actually fucking use it? That's what I thought. Every inch of this beautiful town has been masterfully crafted to ensure the absolute finest automotive experience out there. Even the local police force has been equipped with the highest quality exotic sports cars. There truly is no city like Dubai. Except maybe Houston, but that's a story for another day. Early in my career, the city I called home decided to create a mixed-use walkable promenade along its waterfront, complete with a wretched tram line and the weakest of all lane types, bike lanes. I felt like I was going to be sick. Luckily, with the help of my mentor, we were able to quickly remedy this travesty. Although met with fierce opposition from residents, we were able to secure a contract to convert the boulevard going through the center of town into a beautiful 64-lane elevated highway. Besides, what did those undesirables know? It's their own damn fault for not getting out of the way. As our project moved forward, we started to approach the waterfront. A few small-minded reactionaries attempted to stop us, but they were met with the full force of our 200-meter-wide ribbons of steel and concrete. Eventually, we were able to build a majestic viaduct where that disgusting excuse for a neighborhood used to be, resulting in a complete beltway encircling the entire city so that every motorist in town could enjoy the God-given freedom of movement they were entitled to. We even got rid of the stupid fucking train station in Koreatown. Of course, a few pathetic idiots tried to walk underneath the highway to their jobs in downtown. It was then I was no longer Aaron Wojak, the humble civil engineer. No! Those criminals had helped me realize my true potential. We put a stop to that with a 30-foot brick wall on each side. That'll teach them to mess with Lane Man.
What the hell did you do to my city?
Diana, please! I can explain.
Aaron Lenore Wojak, you know I spent 6 months on this build, right? Don't think I haven't seen the videos.
My name is not Aaron, it is Lane Man. And I simply provided the people of Cascadia Bay with the needed infrastructure to drive wherever they pleased without interference from those pathetic trains.
I don't care. Seriously, building a Walmart without any parking? And this 128-way stack interchange only has 3 lanes on each side. This is seriously lazy work. You couldn't even be bothered to remove the entire train line, and you left the whole metro system intact. I am seriously disappointed in you, Aaron.
I was going to get to it, I promise. I only could do so much.
And the freeway over the Walmart? Only 4 lanes? We need to fix this now. 72 lanes minimum. Have you gone soft on me?
Diana, please forgive me. I only wanted to make the people happy. I tried my best. I promise I'll do better. Give me another chance.
I had plans, Aaron. Big plans. And look at the mess you've made. The traffic on this bridge is too backed up. We must add more lanes and widen it to an acceptable size to accommodate every driver in town. And you didn't even touch Arcadia. This lake is a prime location for one of my signature turbine interchanges. Did you not watch a single tutorial? There isn't even a single Costco in downtown. I guess I'll have to fix it myself. You've let me down, Aaron. There's gonna be consequences for this grave error.
Diana, please, no. I'll do anything you ask of me.
Okay, Lane Man. I need some time to think about this, but you're off the hook for now.
Thank you, City Mommy. You have my word. I will make better choices next time.